With what many people consider one of, if not the worst Transformers movie to come out last year, I figured why not review Transformers the movie? After all, it bombed at the box office and wasn't well received. Except after all these years, people have rediscovered it and people are now considering it the best of the Transformers films. So after seeing reviewers like Mars Girl and Brandon Tenold already have their go at it, I figure I might as well look at something else, since I don't think I can add anything new to the discussion. So, GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords it is then. I never liked the GoBots. They've always came across as bootleg Transformers to me. Yeah, I know, they came out a few months before the Transformers cartoons did, but you know what?
I don't care!
Hey, did you know that they had movie 2 in 1986 and came out 5 months before Transformers the movie? No? Not surprising, that's why it's in the realm of the forgotten. It couldn't hurt to take a look at this, right? You know, it's never a good sign when even kids can't take the film seriously after hearing about it. A Hanna-Barbera production? Uh-oh, I have a bad feeling about this. Right when the film starts, I already have a problem with it. One of the main issues I have with the GoBots is the lazy design and transformations. With the Transformers, they turn to cool things and they twist and move around when they transform. The GoBots, to transform, they just put their arms to the sides and their legs to the sides and that's it. The Rock Lords are even worse. In order to transform, all they do is sit down. And to transform back, stand up. A big part of the blame, I believe, is with Hanna-Barbera. They've been known to be cheap when it comes to animation. Oh well, this is a theatrical film, so there's no way the animation could be as bad as the TV series, right? Oh, silly me. After the cheesy 1970s era opening to the film, we see a rock ship fly through space. Well, enough of that. We then quickly segue to the GoBots, the good ones. They're rebuilding Gobotron. Wait, like Cybertron? Are we sure that the GoBots really came out before the Transformers? Okay. Why do all or most of the robots in this film seem to have a permanent kung fu grip with their hands? Also, why do some of the GoBots have googly eyes and some don't? And why does the robot that's right of Scooter have on sunglasses? Anyway, after the rock ship crashes, two of the Rock Lords come out and introduce themselves. They're named Solitaire and Nugget. I do have a question though, another one. Why does that GoBot at the 6-minute mark seem to be looking at Solitaire like a creeper? The Rock Lords need the GoBots' help because a rogue Rock Lord named Magmar is taking over their planet, and if he gathers all 3 scepters of power, he can take over the world and then the universe.
Of course!
Afterwards, we see one of the evil robots, one of the renegades, eavesdrop on the good guys. We then jump to Magmar, who I think is killing one of the Rock Lords and taking one of the scepters. Over the next 90 seconds, we jump from the good Rock Lord Boulder finding out about Magmar's plan to the renegades finding out about the scepter and their leader Sidekill, which is actually a really cool name, going after it, to the GoBots, the good ones, agreeing to help the good Rock Lords. I know that the story had to do this in order to go forward, but all this bouncing around makes me care less about the story and doesn't do anything about getting to know the new and old characters' personalities. Imagine if this is your first experience with the GoBots. This film really won't tell you anything about them. Don't believe me? Let's take a look at the good guys. You have the grouchy one, the bland leader, and the goofy childlike one, who always smiles when he doesn't supposed to. Also, there are 3 humans there for whatever reason, and that mustachioed guy said that they're in training. Those humans add nothing to the story. The renegades attack and take everyone of consequence down with one shot. Sidekill gets one of the scepters and kidnaps Solitaire. Oh, and for anyone thinking that Solitaire would do anything significant in the movie, now from here to the end of the film, she's going to be just a prisoner. She's useless. Okay, it looks like the plot for the rest of the film will consist of the Guardians chasing the renegades to save Solitaire, as well as keeping the other scepters away from Sidekill and Magmar. Huh. So in this universe, hyperspeed looks like a lit sparkler? Well, anyway, the movie tries to make a forced conflict between Scooter and Nugget. Yeah, that doesn't really go anywhere. I have another issue with the film. Okay, when both groups arrive, there's a bunch of rock lords fighting each other. That's fine, but why does the fighting suck? It's slow, granted they're made out of rock, but it's also boring. It just looks like everyone is pushing each other or giving each other light taps on the chin like, "Aw, you did good, kid." Wait, are they shooting each other with mud guns? Also, why is it working? You know, these guys would have better success if they didn't keep announcing themselves before they attack. After the Renegades scare off the good Rock Lords, they team up with the evil ones. Psykill offers Solitaire the Magmar, and I don't like the creepy way he's looking at her. Anyway, the Guardians wind up on the rock planet, and after a brief misunderstanding, they team up with Boulder, the leader of the good Rock Lords. After a fight leaving all but Scooter the ability to fly, the good guys spend the next 10 minutes or so floating down a river of lava and walking. The Renegades spend that time trying not to crash. How much longer is this film? Lovely. Anyway, after the Guardians get unstuck, Marbles tells them the Rock Lords used to be humanoids until one day rocks became fused to them. What? That's actually an interesting plot for this film. Why couldn't that be the plot for this film? Anyway, the guys run into some angry Rockosaurus. So that means on this world, humans existed with dinosaurs? Once again, that's more interesting than the actual plot for this film. Anyway, Boulder saves the day with his Deus Ex Machina power stick. Question: it's been about 30 minutes, but what's happened to Solitaire? After a creepy smiling Magmar leered at her, she hasn't been seen since. Oh, there she is.
You despicable mineral! I will never help you! I'll fight you till the day I cease to exist!
I think you'll change your tune after you've tumbled for me. Bring her!
No!
What does that even mean? Do I even want to know what that means? Meanwhile...
Soon.
What's taking him so long?
Just do as you're told, Slimo. Stoneheart, prepare the tumbler.
Wait, the tumbler?
Someone is to be tumbled. Who? Solitaire? I can't see clearly. We'd better hurry.
Must fight against making a bad tumbler joke. The good guys blow up a couple of vehicles, but Magmar still succeeds in getting all the scepters together. Why are the heroes happy? This is like losing the war and you're about to be destroyed, but hey, you get 50% off of peppermint ice cream. The Renegades betray Magmar and inadvertently free Solitaire. Psykill steals the Ultra Scepter, but it's too powerful. All he can do is fly around, which he could already do, and blast at nothing. He loses the scepter and the good guys win. Couldn't Magmar just go back into the big head and just grab the scepter again and win? Whatever, the film ends with the Guardians leaving and with Marbles saying,
I have a feeling we'll be seeing them again.
Okay, pros. Nothing really. Well, the Rock Lord's toy commercial theme plays during the end credits, and it's only for 30 seconds, much like the actual commercial for it. Oh, and one of the Rock Lords resembles the Dark Horse comic book character Concrete. So if Concrete's creator got inspiration from here, then I guess that's something, right? And finally, the voice acting is acceptable, not horrendous or great. It's just somewhere in the middle. Well, as far as negatives, well, let me just take a look at my list. The overly simple character designs of the robots, I assume it was done in order to be under budget as well as getting the work done on time. Also, another problem is that we're trying to humanize the robots by giving them eyeballs and irises as well as human-like lips and teeth for some reason. I know people will point out that the Transformers had mouths, so what's the problem? Yes, mouths, not human lady lips or eyelashes or blinking eyes like this for crying out loud. This just makes the robots look silly and I can't take them seriously. There's really not a lot of that in the Transformers because I assume the creators, while they want the Transformers to be relatable and human-like, they also wanted them to be alien in a way, coming off as just being a bit further away from humanity. Other issues I have is the odd segues, unremarkable action scenes. The ship and vehicle designs aren't good either. One looks like a couple of Legos stuck together, and another looks like a bootleg Star Wars AT-AT with its legs removed. Also, do the good GoBots, the Guardians, lack any kind of object permanence? I ask this because there's a pointy-head, obviously evil robot grinning suspiciously in the early scenes, and it's the same robot that eavesdrops on them and gives important information to the renegades. He doesn't even really start to have any lines until near the climax. And his biggest moment is when he stared and smiled at Solitaire like a creeper. This never will have happened to the Autobots. Also, is Solitaire wearing lipstick? Okay, while this is basically a commercial for a new toys line just like Transformers the movie, this was the worst because the only toys they were promoting were of the Rock Lords. The Rock Lords did have a toy line, but it ran for only 3 series and was promptly forgotten after about a year, much like the GoBots themselves, which isn't surprising considering they're all so uninteresting to look at. Also, why do they all have teeth? Why is Scooter always smiling at inappropriate times? Did that guy's mustache change sizes and color during the film? Also, why does he look like a cross between Freddie Mercury and Schneider from One Day at a Time? Which reminds me, the human characters added almost nothing to the story. They did sneak in and save a GoBot that one time, but other than that, they really didn't do anything. They also lacked any kind of personality, just like most of the characters in this film. And then it was Marbles, who can apparently see into the future occasionally, but only for a few seconds at a time. I find it interesting that early in the film, the Rock Lords could be destroyed in one hit, but in the climax, they get blasted to hell and not even get a scratch. So, do I recommend this? No, of course not. Are you insane? Whenever there's a film that's based on some existing property, the fans say for it to be like the source material. No. I understand what they made and agree usually, but when you adapt something into a movie, you have to up your game and the stakes. The problem with this film is it's exactly like the TV series. Nothing was upgraded. The animation was cheap and uninspired. The music was recycled from the show. The story was uninteresting and the action was lazy. I've compared this film to the animated Transformers movie during this review for a reason. There was effort and heart put into that film. Yes, if we're cynical, we can point out it was just made to sell new toys. The thing is, everyone involved tried. Toy animation was in its prime of actually giving a damn. You had actors from the show and Hollywood take this seriously and add gravitas to the film. The Rock Lords film didn't have any of that and it just never grabbed me. Don't believe me? Let me give you an example. Let's take a look at how both films begin. In Transformers the movie, it starts mostly wordless for several minutes. We see a cybernetic world where Transformers are just living their everyday life and for some reason going to the supermarket. Is this Cybertron or a sister planet? We don't know at that point. Then out of nowhere, a gigantic planet, even larger, proceeds to eat their planet. Everyone is running away in terror, but there isn't any escape. After we see the last Transformer assimilate, we then see the cannibal Transformer planet continue on its way silently. After a few moments of silence, the kick-ass movie theme version of the Transformers theme kicks in. From that point on, you have to watch the film. It is essential. Now, let's take a look at GoBots Battle of the Rock Lords. We hear a bunch of unseen kids laughing. The GoBots logo appears. The Rock Lords logo appears via a bad 1980s or 70s animation. Then the rock ship flies through space. That's it. This film wasn't good and is one of the worst types of films. A heartless, unoriginal, lazy cash grab. Little effort was put in the series as well as in this film. This property is in the realm of the forgotten and deserves its place there. With all that being said, I would be open to a reboot of the series, or rather remake, unlike Transformers, which has had a presence in pop culture for decades. This is mostly forgotten. If someone out there is able to have a good, inspired take on this property, I would be all for that. Personally, I think bad properties, movies, TV shows, etc. should be first on that list to be remade. You'll have more wiggle room, plus you don't have to worry about the fans so much. There's not going to be as much fan hatred. And you could do a whole lot more and be more creative than you can with an existing, more popular property. Well, that's all I have for right now. If you like this video, then please subscribe and share it. And until next time, have a good day.
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition met the greatest earthquake ever known.
Uh-oh, we got company.
Don't sweat it. These are the good guys.
Yeah, meet the Rolling Stones.
Well,